She often came over with her kids, as she doesn't drive. We had no issue with her staying the night if it was late. One night my wife went to her place and they got drunk and ended up fooling around together. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, "My Wife and I Had a Threesomething with an Unstable Person. Now We're Reaping What We Sow." And guys, this story is all about a guy who pretty much, just like the title said, he and his wife let a woman into their lives that was quite unstable, to put it mildly. Whole lot of turmoil in her life. Definitely this guy played the role as the white knight, as did his wife. And now, just for a little roll in the hay, all this drama and turmoil is now in his life. So once again, to show you that one better be careful with who they bring into their lives, and especially their bedroom. So guys, just getting right into it, you're going to see more what I'm talking about. Starts off, it says, I'm typing this on my phone, etc., etc. The backstory. My wife, a 30-year-old female, and I, a 30-year-old male, made friends with a girl, a 24-year-old female, at a park about a year ago. We both have kids about the same age. Our friend, P, that's what he's calling her, an interesting choice, is from Europe, married an older guy, and had kids very young. We got to know her more. It turned out that her husband is a meth addict and harms her regularly when he's coming down. Oh, sounds like a real winner. Great. So already they can see this girl, there's a lot of turmoil in her life, and they're hanging out with her and bringing her into their lives. Now, that's very nice. They want to help somebody that's in a bad situation, but people that are like that tend to always have drama in their lives and seek out more drama as time goes on, because that's all they know, as you're going to see here. My wife and I strongly encourage her to leave that environment and put her in touch with local women's refuge. We both assisted her greatly with setting up her new place and generally gave her a lot of help. She has very few friends, says she has trouble meeting friends, and her husband doesn't allow her much freedom. Well, because he's a piece of garbage, obviously, but then again, you're going to see she attracts garbage into her life. Fast forward a few months ago, she seems to be doing well, considering our kids get on well, and me and P seem to find a lot in common and enjoyed hanging out. We would often have a coffee once a week, as she lives very close to my workplace. So this dude is going for coffee with this younger woman. Not cool. Not cool if he's married, and his wife obviously seems fine with this, but not a good idea. She often came over with her kids and doesn't drive. We had no issue with her staying the night if it was late. One night my wife went to her place, they got drunk and ended up fooling around together. Oh, great. Bad enough that there was fooling around, cheating, essentially. Let's be honest, it's what it is. But with a woman that comes from a lot of turmoil in her life. And now that turmoil in her life is soon to be in their life. My wife told me the very next day, and I didn't have a problem with it. Smack. Give him permission to her to pretty much screw around cheating on you. That's nice, she told him the next day. Okay, but still, it didn't stop her from fooling around. And in the comment section I read somewhere, he got a little more detail about this. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. You can imagine your girl, she's pretty, and with another girl who's pretty, but when you're married and have kids, not cool. And it can just lead to more shit, as you're going to see. The two of them started to float the idea of a threesomething with me. After some consideration, beer and coke, I obliged. We did this twice. Now watch to see what this little roll in the hay twice, as he claims, brings into his life. And by the way, just mention that he does coke. This is a father, and he's talking about her having issues in her life. What the hell here? I think there would be some authorities and social services would have a problem knowing that some dude with kids is doing that substance. Call me crazy. She then met a bloke on Tinder, and I didn't see her very much. He started living at her place against her wishes, refused to leave, no job, and would harm her worse than her ex-husband. He did not really allow her any autonomy. So this girl who was with the original guy, who fathered her kids, who was a meth addict, now she found a new dude who is just as bad, if not worse. Imagine that. Now, nobody should be in harm's way or hurt But it's interesting how a lot of gals in these situations tend to keep reattracting the same guy. So there's a point where it's like you raise your hands in the air and say, why waste your time with someone like this? Because they keep inviting that into their lives. And I feel bad for her kids. Her kids should be wards of the state at this point, because she just keeps, the kids are going to see this and get screwed up because of her, you know? I mean, obviously you'd want the kids to be with their family, but if their family is trash and keeps bringing trash in their lives, those kids need to go in good homes and foster care that maybe they have a shot. Twice she called me in tears. Imagine that. And I went and provided some support for her, but the cycle continued to repeat. I became concerned for her children through all this. What this guy should do is report this to the authorities. That's what should be done. But here, the cycle continuing to repeat. That's how it works with people like this. There's more, but for the sake of length, I will fast forward to yesterday. I got a phone call from her crying very erratically and asking for help quickly. I jump in the car and get to her place as quickly as possible. Knock down the door and no answer. I kick the door in and find her place trash, but no P or kids. I find her in the park behind her building. The police are around the corner. The Tinder guy came in over the balcony, pushed her over, and trashed her place in front of her kids. Again, this is a shame. Shouldn't happen, but again, here she is attracting another scumbag into her life, and the kids are affected by this. Kids shouldn't be with her. End of story. She is naturally distressed. The police ask me to mind the kids while they conduct an interview. After the cops leave, I ask her what happened. She begins to tell me and tells me that the Tinder boyfriend has been making threats against my family as well. I ask why would he have to threaten me with, and she looks me in the eye and tells me that my wife had you know what with him. Well, that's coming out of left field. His wife, who was fooling around with this chick, now, according to her, is fooling around with this other lowlife. This just keeps getting better and better. So for that quick little roll in the hay, some three-somethings, look at all this stuff he's inviting in his life now. Says here, she says that my wife doesn't talk to her much, and she wanted to have a three-something with me to feel less guilty about it. I try to remain calm. I go home and decide that I don't really believe the story, but I decide to put the question to my wife. She emphatically denies it and is very upset at the betrayal. She also told me that P told her that we fooled around one night when my wife was away. Not true. So we're going on. She says this, another woman says this, back and forth. But remember, this is the wife that was fooling around with the chick before she eventually told him. And this is a guy that he says uses coke. I mean, this is like daytime TV stuff right here. Great people. And I'm sure you're picking up on my sarcasm. I have a good relationship with my wife, and she doesn't have a history of lying. Pfft. Oh, really? P doesn't share the same history, though. I've obviously taken my wife's word for it, and to me, it seems like perhaps P wants me and has been working to destabilize our relationship in the hope that I would run to her. Some other things. P told me that she likes me too much. P made almost no effort with my wife and doesn't respond to her messages, but talks to me almost daily. P has tried a few times to invite me out, just us. P has tried to coax me around for sex on my way home from a late night. Well, there you go. P is obviously, yeah, you had your little three-something twice and she fooled around with your wife. This is such garbage. This is daytime TV stuff. It's crazy. But it's a big freaking mess. My wife is aware of all this and at the time wasn't bothered. What do you mean the wife wasn't bothered? This woman's outright trying to get hooked up. Unless maybe your wife's hooking up with that scumbag. Maybe there's some truth to this. This has obviously changed. Am I crazy? There's no more to the story, but this will probably do for now. I blocked P on Facebook. I still feel guilty and bad for her after what she's been through, but I have to put my family first. Any advice how to proceed? Yeah, don't have anything to do with this crazy broad. And I might add, get rid of your wife because I don't trust her any further. I can throw her. Remember, she started this whole thing by fooling around with her, and you're going to see in the comment section, you find out from the guy posting this, that they were fooling around and making out in the shower together, but claim nothing else happened. Sure, but this is a big mess, and this guy needs to get away from that P character because she's garbage. Contact the freaking authorities and social service to explain the situation. Those kids maybe have a shot at life because those kids are being involved with her and all the piece of crap guys she's bringing into her life, and those kids are going to get harmed. already they're probably mentally and psychologically harmed, and get rid of the wife because you can't trust her either. And I just don't buy the whole thing like, oh, my wife was okay with that even though that chick was hitting on me and all that. He's probably hooking up with that meth guy that chick was talking about. Now, a few comments from the comment section here. One guy says, so it's not far-fetched for your wife to have you-know-what with a woman without your prior knowledge, but if for your wife to have you-know-what with another dude. Yeah, exactly. Not far-fetched at all. Another comment says, well, there's a great chance that P is lying, and I'm glad you and your wife share such an honest relationship. Having said that, unless there isn't a proof that your wife slept with the Tinder guy, you shouldn't be worried at all. Threesome things aren't a natural phenomena, and they come with baggage. Well, unless you just paid for one. See? Look how things went downhill after the threesome things. And this whole thing about the great relationship with your wife, I don't buy that for a second. Another comment says here, or the final one says, I think you should leave P alone. She's an awful influence on your lies, and I believe that she lied. And I'm hoping that you and your wife can work through the whole thing. It'd be a real shame if this had a negative effect on your relationship. It seems like you guys make a good pair. Good pair of what? Freaking living in, I don't even want to say it. But, and I might add also, this guy does coke. And this guy's a parent and raises kids, okay? Call me old-fashioned, call me conservative, but I think there are certain states where his ass would be dragged away to prison, and those kids would be in social services if this came out. So, but these seem like all a bunch of low lies, and just like one low life and even more of a low life. But this guy, I wouldn't trust the wife. I certainly wouldn't trust that P character, and this guy needs to get as far away from probably all of them as possible. But anyhow, guys, just a little example of you can't make this shit up in this screwed up world that we're in right now. All right, guys, that is it for today. That was a quick one. Be sure to comment down below and just think about this. What do you think? Is the wife sleeping with the meth guy? I'd like to hear about that. What do you think this guy should do? And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.